My spouse proposed we consider an open marriage, suggesting it might deepen the trust we'd built. I respectfully but firmly declined. Weeks later, I uncovered that she'd been secretly reconnecting with her ex for months, well before her proposal. When confronted, she brushed it off with a casual, "You ought to be grateful I even mentioned it." This morning, she opened her bedside drawer, discovered a pile of documents, and my phone lit up with 47 missed calls. Before I delve further, I want to extend heartfelt thanks to anyone reading this. If my story resonates with you, I'd be honored if you'd consider subscribing. It's incredibly meaningful to know these shared experiences connect with others. Lately, this space has felt quieter, and every new supporter reminds me why I share. Now let's dive in. I never pictured myself as someone airing personal betrayals in a place like this. I'm not here to vilify anyone or stew in bitterness. I'm just a guy who saw the signs. I'm Ethan, 36. My wife, soon-to-be former wife, Clara, is 34. We shared nearly 8 years of marriage, opting out of parenthood not from aversion, but because our careers and lifestyle took priority. We had a tight-knit group of friends, rewarding jobs, and a life that seemed to flow effortlessly. I work in tech infrastructure, mostly from home. Clara thrived in creative advertising, always on the move, socializing. Our differences, I thought, were our strength, creating a balanced partnership. Our daily life felt warm, almost sacred. We shared grocery lists, alternated cooking duties, and tidied our home together on Sundays, Clara softly singing to her favorite indie tracks through her earbuds. Our house echoed with laughter, and I believed that signified something genuine. Then came the night that shifted everything. We were sprawled on the couch after Clara whipped up a trendy quinoa pasta dish she'd found online. Half watching a series, she turned to me and asked, "Ever thought about spicing up our relationship?" I figured she meant something like taking up hiking or finally planning that vacation we'd discussed. But she pressed on. "I listened to a podcast about couples trying open relationships. They say it builds stronger trust and openness." I laughed, assuming it was a joke. Her face stayed serious. "I mean it," she said. "Not immediately, but it could bring us closer." I asked if something was off between us. "No, we're good," she replied. "We're solid, right?" That moment sparked unease. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment idea. It felt deliberate, like she was testing the waters after already stepping over a line. I shut it down gently but firmly. Sharing our bond with others wasn't the vow I took. She nodded, seeming to understand, then shifted to a trivial topic, as if we'd just debated wall decor. But her words lingered, a persistent unease I couldn't dismiss. After that evening, small shifts emerged. Clara stopped holding my hand on walks. Her texts grew curt, almost mechanical. She began tucking her phone under her pillow at night. Suddenly, she craved solo time for creative inspiration, claiming her coworkers were reigniting her passion. I didn't want to become the distrustful spouse. I'd never rifled through her phone or tried to control her, but the change was palpable. So I did what I do at work when systems don't align. I tracked patterns. I noted dates, times, her stated plans, her absences, what she wore, even the subtle scents clinging to her. I wasn't aiming to catch her. I just sought clarity on the widening gap between us. Her outfits for these solo outings grew more deliberate. Not ostentatious, but carefully curated, as if chosen for someone's eyes. She consistently named 2 friends, Rachel and Mia, as her alibi. Then, one evening, I noticed she'd left our shared music app open. A playlist caught my eye. Mark 24. 12 songs, all moody alternative tracks. One was a song she'd once said reminded her of her ex, Mark. The man she'd described as controlling and immature, someone she'd supposedly cut off. Now his name was tied to her music. I held off on confronting her, knowing carelessness reveals itself in time. Her Friday nights grew predictable. She'd claimed to be with Rachel or Mia, but I checked our old location-sharing app. Still active from years past. Her phone wasn't at her friends' homes. It was at a discreet motel on the town's outskirts, hidden behind a strip mall, the kind of place chosen for anonymity. One night I drove by, not to confront, but to verify. Her car was parked near a gray sedan, the same model Mark once drove. I saw a figure in a hoodie and cap slip inside. followed by Clara entering through another door minutes later. That was enough. I didn't need photos or a heated confrontation. The truth was evident. She came home that night, acting as if nothing was amiss, giving me a fleeting kiss and saying she loved me. The next day, I scoured our bank statements. Most transactions were cash, smart but not foolproof. One stood out, a $15.40 rideshare to that motel. I saved a screenshot, adding it to my growing evidence log. On Tuesday, I consulted a divorce attorney, not to file immediately, but to know my options. He explained the process. Formalizing a separation, securing finances, protecting shared assets, and removing someone from joint accounts, especially with proof of infidelity. I took detailed notes, not out of malice but because I saw the path ahead. Clara hadn't proposed an open marriage to strengthen us. She was laying groundwork to excuse her betrayal, and I wouldn't forgive it. It was a Wednesday evening when I spoke up. We were eating takeout, her favorite sushi, but she barely touched it, her eyes fixed on her phone, anticipating a message. Maybe it was how she kept flipping her hair or called me honey 4 times in 5 minutes, like she was setting a stage. I set my chopsticks down and asked, "Are you still talking to him?" She froze, her eyes snapping up. "What, Mark?" she said, his name escaping too quickly. Her chopsticks hovered as she hesitated. I kept my tone steady. "I know about the motel, the sedan, the playlist you made for him." Her expression shifted. Not to guilt or fear, but to annoyance. She sighed deeply. "God, Ethan, you've been stalking me?" "No," I said. "I just paid attention." She stared, likely calculating her next move. Deny, deflect, or play victim. Instead, she said, "You should be grateful I even hinted at wanting something else." That word, grateful, stung sharply. "You suggested an open marriage after you'd already started cheating," I said, my voice calm but firm. She rolled her eyes. "It was just a motel, Ethan. I didn't run off with him. You're acting like I broke the law." I didn't reply, just held her gaze. "You're not exactly exciting, you know," she continued. "You're reliable, sure, but Mark makes me feel alive." "So did I," I said unflinching. "For 8 years." She shrugged. "Maybe you made it too easy for me to walk over you." That cut deep, piercing through the months I'd spent piecing together her deception, the nights waiting for her return, the mornings watching her act a part. I stood, cleared my plate, and went upstairs without another word. That night, I slept in the guest room, not out of spite, but because I was already planning my departure. The next morning, Clara left for work early. It was the last time she'd sleep in our bed, though she didn't know it. When she returned that Friday, everything seemed normal on the surface. Fresh makeup, her signature scent, hair impeccably styled. She didn't mention our argument or glance at the guest room, just went to our bedroom as usual. I waited 10 minutes, then left the house. No fight, no explanation. I'd said enough. And her actions had revealed her true self. That night, she likely scrolled her phone, perhaps texted Mark, maybe chuckled at a meme. But everything shifted when she opened her nightstand drawer. Gone were the usual items: chargers, lip balm, stray receipts. In their place was a stack of papers. A notarized separation agreement, clear and final, with no alimony, no shared assets, just a clean break. My signature was already there, awaiting hers. Behind it was a detailed record: dates, times, motel visits, rideshare receipts, the playlist, bank notices, and proof I'd removed her from our joint accounts. The final page was a concise note. "No need to talk. I've seen who you really are. Keep the house contents. I took what's mine. The locks are changed. Don't reach out." I wasn't there when she found it. I'd already left, packing 2 suitcases and my key documents. I moved into a modest, quiet rental, a 1-bedroom with no internet, just peace. When I turned on my phone the next day, it was flooded. 47 missed calls, texts, voicemails, emails. Her messages swung from confusion to blame, manipulation to anger, then desperation. One read, "If you ever cared about me, you'd at least talk." I didn't reply. I let her words stack up unanswered. It's been 4 weeks, and I haven't responded to a single message. Not the apologies, the accusations, or the pleas. I didn't block her. I just let her speak into the void. Clara never expected I'd follow through. She thought I'd sulk, maybe crash in a hotel, then come back because I was the dependable one, the safe one. She didn't realize that when someone like me leaves, it's for good. One of her friends, someone we used to hang out with, reached out. Apparently, Mark disappeared the moment the papers were served, blocking Clara and deleting the playlist. Predictable. She'd burned our marriage for someone who didn't even stick around for the aftermath. She tried to twist the story, telling our friend I'd overreacted, that she was just exploring herself, and I was controlling for leaving. I didn't bother setting the record straight. I had the evidence, but even without it, I'd have walked away. Last week, she sent a final text. If you ever loved me, just talk to me. I did love her, but that version of her is gone. Instead of replying, I forwarded a screenshot of a message she'd sent months ago about someone else's breakup. If they cheat, you owe them nothing. Leave quietly, completely. That was her own advice, and I followed it. Now I'm settled in a new space, small, neat mine. I sleep deeply. My phone stays silent at night. My schedule is free of her fabricated plans. My music app holds no hidden playlists. The other day, I caught myself smiling for no reason, just walking to my car, relishing the quiet. I didn't destroy her things or lash out. I simply left. And in that drawer, where she once kept her odds and ends, she found the only closure I'll ever provide.